Yo, everybody, what's up? Today's movie is The Monkey, directed by Osgood Perkins. You might know him for directing Black Coat's Daughter and Longlegs, and starring Theo James and Theo James? Twin brothers, with a supporting cast from Tatiana Maslany and also a couple of cameos that you guys are probably going to recognize. And the premise goes like this. When twin brothers find a mysterious wind-up monkey, a series of outrageous deaths tear their family apart. 25 years later, a bunch of new killings begin, and the estranged brothers must come together to confront a cursed toy. Now I gotta say, I don't know, call me stupid or something, but when I watched the trailer the first time, I assumed it was just a horror movie. I didn't realize until looking it up a couple of days ago in preparation for my review that it was a horror comedy. And let me tell you guys, it's more comedy than horror. Not to say that that's a good or a bad thing, but this thing is outrageously funny. Half of it is funny because the material's funny, or whatever they say or do comes across as genuinely funny, at least to me. But half of the stuff is just funny in that it's dumb. It's super dumb. But that doesn't necessarily detract anything for me. Now, on the horror side of things, I love the design of the monkey. It's cool. It's creepy looking. I don't know if you could tell from the trailers, but upon watching this movie, I'm staring into this thing's eyes and I'm like, dude, those eyes are creepy. And then it kind of does this like grin thing sometimes, you know, to expose its teeth, show its teeth, and it like grits its teeth. And the teeth are even like, are those real teeth? And the design, you know, the way the sound design and everything, the way they make the drums hit and stuff like that, that stuff is all really cool. There's some really artistic shots with the monkey in it. And then there's like, side note, there's some outrageous stuff. Like I'm sure you've seen in the trailer, if you watch the trailer, there's a, for YouTube, let's call her a lady entertainer. And when she bends down, she's got the monkey mask on, and then it cuts to Theo James going. That was funny. But so on the design of the monkey, I really like how they did that. Now, as far as like the, you know, the horror elements of it, the deaths and all that stuff, the deaths, I gotta say, some of them are super intricate, you know, not unlike Final Destination, as I'm sure a lot of people you've heard compare the movie to. So it's not unlike that. They're not all these intricate, fancy things like this thing tips over this thing and does this, and then this happens and whoop, whoop, whoop. Some of it is just like some straight up stuff. Some of it is just really over the top. And I get early on that the kind of running thing with this movie was kind of over exaggerating and overdoing just everything to the top, like almost as if it's a parody, but it's like not. You know, shout out to my little sister. She said, so it's a parody that takes itself serious, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess that's probably the closest I could come to explaining how this movie goes about their stuff. It's over the top, everything. If you saw the part in the trailer where the priest kind of walks up in front and it seems like it's a funeral, and he's looking out at the congregation and he goes, oh, would he say the F-bomb in front of his entire congregation? And then you're looking at the congregation and they're not reacting to it, and it's kind of like okay. And then you have characters in the movie that are talking and dealing with death, and it's almost like it just doesn't faze them. It's somewhat, you know, I wanted to give credit to maybe one or two of the characters early on were just in shock and they were acting like it just came across as they didn't care so much. But throughout the whole movie, nobody's really like tripping off of people dying. People are just dying and they're like, oh, that sucks. But yeah, so the death scenes are cool, and obviously, you know, there's a bunch of them for the movie. So that stuff's cool. The design of the monkey is really cool. But a couple of the things that I just wasn't too fond of, again, going back to, you know, half of the comedy, me laughing out loud in the theater was more like, that was really dumb. That was stupid. And then the other half was actually, sincerely, I was laughing because it was funny stuff. No, we have to make like eggs and scramble. And then going back to the death scenes, it's like this. Some of the stuff was really cool, but then some of it is like, that's too much. You know, there's either too much blood or something that happens is like, I mean, obviously I've never seen this stuff in real life, so I guess I have no idea. But some of it's like, okay, that happened just because of that. Like the deaths are just a little over the top and stuff. It's people exploding or something like that when there was nothing that would have made them explode. I don't know, just kind of weird. And then the overall horror element of the thing, I don't know, I guess I'm just desensitized with all these horror movies, but you know, there's a bunch of death and a bunch of gore, and if that stuff bothers you, then you might be a little bit scared of the movie. But for me, that's not something that really bothers me. And that's kind of why I said earlier it's more of a comedy than a horror, because there's a bunch of parts throughout the whole thing, but there's never anything where I was like, oh, you know, there's no jump scares or anything like that, or at least that's what I felt like. But the overall tone that the movie carries didn't really make me feel, you know, it didn't keep me on edge. It didn't make me feel queasy. It didn't make me feel like something crazy was about to happen. They segue you into these deaths and stuff like that. They lead you in there, and so you know that's coming. So there's like tension in that aspect, but it's not like anything was scary or horrific. And that's kind of why I think it's just like they just dialed everything up to 11 for a movie like this. The gore scenes over the top, the murder over the top, the gruesomeness, everything over the top, but also the comedy. Like I said, half the time it's just over the top. It's just, I did laugh out loud, but it was almost like how stupid it was and not it actually being funny. So overall, what do I think about The Monkey? I thought it was good. I probably wanted something that was more horror than comedy. I don't have anything against horror comedy, but you know, I was expecting a little more from it on the scary end of things, and they just don't tap into that. And I'm wondering if that was probably just the goal of the movie, was not to go there with it. They wanted to make what they made, and that was their goal. So for me, it was all right. I might give it like a 5 or a 6. You know, it's not anything to write home about. It wasn't scary or anything like that. It was funny. It had its moments. Theo James did a great job with both of his roles, because you know, he plays twin brothers, and they're a little different in how they act and how they carry themselves. You know, in the supporting actors, you know, Tatiana Maslany, she was great. I mean, her character was awesome. It was funny. And then you got a couple of kids in the movie. Everybody did a good job at their parts. So it's not anything from, you know, the acting point of view or anything like that. It probably just comes down to me wanting a little more horror and less comedy. Maybe I should have expected it. I'm not sure. It just didn't come across like that to me when I watched the trailer for it. So what do you guys think? Are you going to see The Monkey in theaters? Or if you've already seen it, let me know how you felt about it down below. Well, that about wraps it up for me, so I'll catch you guys in the next one. No, we have to make like eggs and scramble!